Sometimes people ask me, how can they become fluent in another language? There are many different approaches to this, but there's some really key things that a person can do to increase their fluency in another language. One of the ways I'll be discussing today is the importance of building an emotional connection with the language that you're learning. When you have an emotional connection with the language you're learning, it makes remembering the information a lot simpler for you. That's not to say that learning other languages doesn't have its challenges, because believe me, they do. There are 3 things a person can do to increase their ability to become fluent in another language. These are the methods that we use here at 21 Bridges. Number 1, storytelling. When you read or listen to other stories in another language, it increases your vocabulary. When you don't have a lot of vocabulary, you have to make sure you're learning new vocabulary. And the best way to do that is by reading someone's story. Multimodality. Multimodality is such a powerful tool to use. You learn through images, television shows, music, to increase your vocabulary and your awareness of sentence structure. It's one of the easiest ways to practice the language without actually speaking the language. Here's a few techniques I use when engaging myself emotionally with the language. You can turn on the subtitles on your favorite TV show within Netflix or Hulu to put those subtitles in the language you're learning. You can also flip the language of the television show you're watching. This really works best when you're watching something that you're already familiar with. So when you hear new words, you can associate them better with the words in your native language. The last but certainly not least, and this is the most important way to emotionally connect with the language, is through culture. Regardless of if you love to travel outside of the country or not, there are numerous ways to connect to a culture, even within your own city. Try that new restaurant that you've been wanting to try, but maybe have been a little bit intimidated about. Culture. Culture is so important because it gives the person context as to why things are being said the way they're said without it being directly explained. The biggest question that I get in some of my language classes that I have facilitated to people is why? Why do people say it like that? And it's so hard to answer that question because culture can't be explained in words sometimes. But when you experience someone else's culture for the first time, it can really enhance your learning. A few ways you can build culture in your day-to-day life is by traveling. Now, you can travel within your own city to experience various different cultures, but the key here is to experience the culture that speaks the language that you're learning. For example, if you're learning Spanish, go to a restaurant and order your meal in Spanish. Read the menu. Try to make out the words. These things can be seemingly scary at first, but when you do them, you're slowly but surely building that emotional connection with another language, and that's key. I think what's important to realize too is when you're trying these strategies to build an emotional connection with the language you're learning, it can be really intimidating and scary at first. And that's okay. The most important thing that I tell people at 21 Bridges is to do it with fear. Do it with fear. You know, being courageous is not the absence of fear. Being courageous is doing that thing you know you want to do despite the fear being there. And in fact, some would say, and I believe this to be true, if fear didn't exist, there would be no room for being courageous. Just a quick recap, there are 3 ways to build an emotional connection with the language you're learning. Storytelling, reading a book, listening to a podcast in another language are all effective ways to build an emotional connection through language and storytelling. Multimodality. Watching a TV show in another language or watching a TV show with the subtitles of the language you're learning is very effective. Listening to music in another language is amazing because not only does it teach you new vocabulary words, but it makes you comfortable with listening to something that's foreign to you. And last but not least, culture is important. Trying to put yourself in situations where you're exposed to a new culture gives you so much context to the language you're speaking. You won't even be able to explain it in words. These are 3 ways I want you to challenge yourself this week while you're learning your other language. And remember, languages is not a barrier. It's a bridge to so many opportunities. All you can do is grow when you learn another language.